so weird. This is like such a different angle. I feel like I'm not in my room. Like it looks so weird. So we're gonna start the video. I have no makeup on. I am wearing a shirt. Much better. I'm changing up the environment. Fun fact, I am leaving for Italy in 4 days and my hard drive has failed. My external hard drive has failed and it had a bunch of videos that I filmed on it. So now, as I stress, in 4 days I need to film a bunch of videos that I'm able to post. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to discuss what the title is, which is I got my first chemical peel. Now currently as we speak, I've had my second chemical peel. I don't know how much it's showing on camera, but my skin is peeling a lot. Like here, this section of my skin has not peeled here. But yeah, basically the first one went really well, so I went ahead and did the second one. And so far, it's great. I've wanted to do chemical peel for years because I have acne scars, which I've talked about on this channel before, and I also have acne. I have purchased the Banish acne scar kit, and I had a lot of breakouts, so I actually had to stop using it because I didn't want to spread bacteria on my face. But when I did use it, it did work really well, so I'm hoping once my skin is finally cleared up that I can get back onto using it. I've always been kind of scared to dive into chemical peels because obviously the fact or just the thought of having chemicals on your face that's literally burning the top layer of your skin up. Essentially, I think that's what it's doing. It's like a very, very deep exfoliation. So mine isn't like, there's some that I watched scare me where like the skin like blistered and like turned like dark color and then scabbed and peeled off. So mine obviously isn't that intense. It kind of just looks like I've had a really bad sunburn without all the redness. I did see someone say that they could trim the edges, so I have done that in certain parts just to make it look a little bit more clean and not as reptile-like. I'm from Canada, but if you're just looking at my video and you don't know that. So where I actually got mine done is a place called Starlight Med Spa, and I've only been there twice and I still highly recommend. I did lots and lots of research on chemical peels before I decided to go through and get one, and I also creeped their Instagram page for a very long time before I decided to go through service with them. I've done my extensive research on chemical peels. It is something I've thought about for a long time. Thought always scared me, but then I tried other ways to get rid of my scarring, or at least attempted. And I've known someone for years she's really good at what she does, but it just seemed like every single time that I went to approach her about my acne scars and doing something about it, I was always kind of like turned down or told like, oh, just wait a bit and like it will fade, it will fade, it will fade. Which is kind of frustrating, especially if you have acne. You understand how frustrating it is to have to wait so long for it to fade, and on top of that you're getting like new ones. And it's not like how I kind of seen it was like I've been asking for the past 4 or 5 years, whatever, for something to be done, and every time I was kind of like let down with the answer, and I always left feeling kind of defeated and like disappointed because, you know, you get all excited like, oh, finally it'll be gone, and then kind of not. And still, it is a process. Like when you look at my skin here, you still do see like the acne scars, but they're much more faded, and like I do have some indentations and texture on my face, so you can only see it at certain angles when I like tilt my chin a certain way when the light hits. So I felt more of the indentations before, but now they are a lot more smoothed out. So it's still something that I need to wait for it to get results, and they're not going to be results that I get like overnight, because it's been a week since my second peel, and since my second one it's still like peeling like quite a bit. So it's still got a far more way to go. Yeah, it's a not time consuming, but it's a timely, I don't know if it's the right word, timely process. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's gonna take time. Like it's not gonna take as long as maybe just waiting for the redness to fade. It's just kind of speeding up. But I feel maybe for her, like obviously they were the best intentions for me. I just feel like people look at my face and they're like, oh well, there's nothing there, it's so small you can't even see it. But the thing is, for me, it's like that's all I kind of see, and it's a much more major issue it is for myself than maybe it is for other people. So to her, there wasn't a need to kind of do anything like too invasive, like maybe a chemical peel or whatever, or needling or whatever. So I decided to kind of take a different route, and I had been watching the Instagram for a while. Again, I'll leave their Instagram below so you can check them out if you are in Canada. I think they're the only location. Other than I've been waiting a really long time, And finally I'm seeing results and I'm happy with it. It's not just the treatments, you do need to keep up with home care regimen. They tell you what products are good and aren't good. They know, like, they tell you to bring them, or like a list of them or whatever, and they go over the ingredients with you and what can be causing, for me in my case, is acne, but they treat a bunch of other stuff as well. So from what my understanding is, I am not an esthetician or anything, from what I understood from getting it done, the max amount of layers you can do is 4, so that's how many times they kind of go over all your face, and then I guess the more layers you do, the deeper it penetrates, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. They stop depending on your skin reaction and like how you actually feel, like pain tolerance and such. So like for my first time I went, I was able to get through 4 layers, which is the max. You can't do any more than that. And then they talked about skin frosting. So she was saying when your skin frosts, so kind of like, oh, it turns like white, it just means there's a lot of heat and like stimulation underneath your skin. And when it starts to frost, it means you can't do any more than that. So that's what that means. So the first time I was able to do 4 layers, and when I went for my second time I was only able to do 3, and I started frosting, so it stopped. But I feel like there's more peeling the second time around than the first time, and they also told you that sometimes people get them done and they don't even peel at all, but it doesn't mean it didn't work. So it kind of just like depends. It's just not as bad. Like I was expecting, on a scale of 1 to 10, again it also depends on your pain tolerance. The more layers you do, it burns more kind of. Also she puts this like renewing, like brightening toner thing, and she tells you when you add that on top, everything like burns more, so it burns the most when you're adding that one on top. So to be honest, they also do extractions, and in my opinion the extractions hurt more than the actual peel did. Because it was so painful. Like she did it on my nose, and she was like, you're either gonna tear from one eye or you're gonna start sneezing. So I had the waterworks, and like they just kept going. For me, like getting my nose extracted was more painful than the actual peel. For everyone it's obviously going to be different, but it was tolerable, and the pain doesn't last for very long. Like it's just like an overall stinging sensation, and then it subsides, and then she also like neutralized it and stuff. And I think the first thing she put on my face, so they cleanse your face first, and then she put like the first one was like a treatment for my acne, because I was a lot more congested. I did notice like when I got out right away, like it was a lot less red, and obviously it wasn't gone. And I took some clips of my skin on the way there, and then yeah, on the way there, like before I went to go get my treatment done, and I kind of like show my face, and then in between 2nd and 3rd day I think, because the next like wasn't as dramatic, but this is like HD quality. You see my skin peeling, so this is after a week. I'm going to get my first ever consultation for your skin, and I'm nervous. It goes good. Yeah, that's my experience. I would recommend, just because it works for me does not mean it will work for you. Like I had to go through a ton of trial and error to kind of figure out how to fix my skin. I have my acne skincare routine down below, but I do need to put a recommendation thing on there, and I have to fix that in the video. The moisturizer that I use, not the CeraVe one, there's one of the Neutrogena, is the one that she told me that clogs my pores. Garnier. The Garnier one is the one that clogs your pores. So if you watch that video, don't use the Garnier one, because that's what clogs my pores. That was that video, and hopefully I get my external hard drive situation fixed. When you think about like price wise, like it's not going to be like cheap, but a package deal, so you can choose. If you go in and you get like, so mine comes with 3 treatments in the package. So if you go in and you get like, if you were to get the treatments individually without the package, you end up paying more. So it's actually $100 cheaper, I think they said, if you just get it within the package deal. It is an investment because you are spending quite a bit of money, but for me, having like clear skin, it's been a thing of mine that I've wanted to treat for such a long time, so it was a good investment for me, and I had enough money like saved up for it. Me having clear skin, that was an investment worth me, but it might not be something that is worth for you. You know, some people might have acne scars, it might not bother them at all, but in my case it was a lot different, and it really took a toll on my self-esteem, so I decided to do something about it. That was my video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, make sure you click my subscribe button. Press the subscribe button if you'd like to see more of this face and find out what happens with this face. Maybe I'll do an update.